sick or? That's not good. All right. Hey, we'll do some questions for Candy just to see what you're learning. Okay. First fill in the blank this morning was what? You can't look at your notes. Yes. You got it. Woo. Make sure you give them to her. Okay. Second one. Yes. Huh? No. Okay. That was true. That was under that one. But just because you answered it correctly, can you give me the next two? Understand? You got it. Woo. Look at that. Okay. Good job. Give me the second. So I did numbers and then I did letters. So give me the second number. Oh, come on. Yes. Starts with an N. Navigate what? Okay, you got to go. You. Brock. Huh? You got it. The word. Okay. Very good. Okay, so give me, under navigate your walk with the word, give me the three, all three, A, B, and C. They all start with a T. Yeah, T. T is in Tom. Give me all three of them. Or give me one of them. Come on. Yes. You got it. Good job. Okay, here they come. Catch them for them, you guys. I haven't killed anybody else, but I'm going to. Okay. You're doing great. My iPad has a magnet on it and doesn't want to switch. Okay, third one. Whoa. Third one, what is it? Yes. You got it. Awesome. Okay, watch your heads. Okay, good job. And we're going to skip, just because of time, we're going to skip down to number 4. We're not going to do the A, B, and C on that one. What is the last one? Number 4. Yes. You're awesome. That's great. Here you go. Look at that. She's the closest, and I still don't get it. Yes.
What did the guy named Walter do again?
Huh?
Walter.
Walter was a missionary in Sudan. So, yeah. And he died there. And that was his mother who said, I'd rather have him in Sudan being obedient to the Lord than at home disobeying the Lord. So I asked, you have some questions, and we were going to do that, but then we switched with the guy that was speaking, Jason. I think Jason spoke to you, and so we switched, and I will do 2 slots tomorrow. And so, Maggie, come on up. And then we're going to just do this for a few minutes, because in the last half an hour, we're going to watch a video together. So anything goes. You can ask any question about us or to us. It can be biblical. It can be personal. It can be dating. It can be marriage. It can be whatever you want it to be. Not political, but that's okay. Just don't fall off. So, do you need help or you got it? Yeah, I know you do. So, I wanted you to think about some questions. So, anything goes. I've been asked some different questions. So, yes?
What kind of motorcycle do you ride?
Right now, I ride a couch, and it's called it's basically a large scooter. It's called a Suzuki Bergman 400. But I've owned Harleys. I've owned Gold Wings.
That's not the question.
Well, I'm telling you, I want because I'm embarrassed about the. Yeah, so I've ridden pretty much everything from. I've had a KLR 650. I've had Yamaha, Suzukis.
But he started with one of those little bikes that you push.
Yeah. No. But I've ridden a lot over the years. I buy and sell, but she sort of put a stop to it, so she makes me ride the couch. That's what I call it. So, yes.
So I want to tell you something before that. You know, with the throwing of the candy, so one of our interns, present interns right now, the way she made her decision to come to Caravan is that at the last conference that he was at, they were throwing T-shirts, and then she got one right on the face. So when she got back to wherever her destination was, she opened it up, and there is information about Caravan. So she decided that God really wanted her to go there.
So she's never been to Caravan, never been to Mexico, and she just looked up the name of our shirt online and then said, "I want to come work for you." So she's there now. So pretty cool. So God uses everything, even candy to the face. So anyway, yes, Julian.
What have been some of the hardest like cultural differences for you guys in your marriage?
I'll go. But, well, it was really interesting. We didn't think about when we got married. Nobody really talked about cultural differences to us, not even in our premarital counseling. And we got married 47 years ago, so they were just starting premarital counseling, and we were in like the first class that was happening in California. But for me, I was coming as a white guy into a Mexican family, and her sisters, some of her sisters were in gangs, and they did not like it that there was a white guy coming in. I was called one of them. And so if they ever had conflict with white people down at the beach or somewhere, I was one of them. And so it took a long time for me to break through that. And so that was just breaking into that. But I think the cultural thing for me, just one of the biggest ones that nobody helped us walk through and we learned on our own, is that there's something about, and she can explain it maybe more, there's something about a firstborn for a Mexican woman. There's a closeness and a bond, and our firstborn was a boy, and it didn't really come out until he was 18, and he was heading off to college, and he went from California to Arkansas, and so I took him to the school and checked it out, and he made a decision to go to that school with me and without her, and his first semester at school was really hard on her, and it affected us. And so then we realized she should have been the one that took him and let him check out the school, not me. And once she got there, we went, there was a parents thing, and she went and checked out the parents thing. And then that really helped her because now she knew where her son was. So, and I didn't understand that. I couldn't compute that, but that was a big thing for her. Am I not right? Or, yeah.
Well, it's a very U.S. thing to look forward to being 18 and moving out. And in the Mexican culture, what I grew up with is you don't leave until you get married, until you're 50, and then you kick them out. Careful with that. Mom's telling me that
It's time to get married.
I don't know. If you want to know something about, I'm not a learner of the Mexican culture. I just grew up in that, so that it's hard for me to explain it, put it into words. Just like when I'm asked certain things, how do you say just a word? That's a typical thing to hear from you guys. It's like, I don't know. You have to put it in context. How you're going to use that word. And there's a variety of words, just like you have synonyms in English, we do also in Spanish, but I don't know how I got into that from a kid.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to explain the culture of the Mexican culture because I'm not a student of the Mexican culture. I grew up in it, and that's just the way it is.
Some of the things that was a shock to her is like her family would have a pot of beans on the stove, and there would be a chunk of meat, and usually her dad got the meat. Well, piece of meat. I call it a chunk. Piece of meat in the beans, and dad got the meat, the kids got the beans. But then she came to my house, and my mom did like 6 courses. We had meat, we had a salad, we had gravy, we had vegetables and bread, and so that just blew her mind. And she goes, how often do you do that? And I said, well, pretty much every night. So that really shocked her. And the other thing is,
Another question?
no, this other really good story. So I have to tell you the story that my dad was very prejudiced against Mexicans. He didn't like Mexicans. I hung out with a girl that was very dark, Indian Mexican, and he saw me walking down the street with her and said if he ever saw me, my dad wasn't a believer, and this was before I was a believer. He says, if I ever see you with her again, I'll beat you up in front of her type thing. He was pretty, aggressive. So when I started dating Maggie, she was light complected, lighter than most, and she doesn't have a heavy accent. So he didn't know she was Mexican, but he kept asking my mom, who's this new girl Eddie's dating, and what's her name? And I said, well, it's Maggie, and he goes, what's her last name? And so he kept asking what's her last name. So her last name is Sanchez, so I told my mom to tell him it's Sanchinsky. So she was Maggie Sanchinsky. And so she was Polish for a while, and until about 2 months before we got married, my pastor says, Eddie, you got to tell your dad that she's Mexican. So I did, and it worked out fine. So anyway, there's the story. Yes?
You said that you grew up like smoking weed, doing less alcohol. The question is, do you still have the desire to go back to that? And if not, why not?
No, in fact, I quit everything pretty cold turkey. I even quit smoking cigarettes, and I was smoking a pack and a half in a day, pack and a half when I was in high school. So, but anything that I ever felt like I had an addiction to, it would be smoking cigarettes, not pot, not doing the drugs, even up until, and I was fine when I smoked that cigarette on the island in Papua New Guinea, but probably up until I was 40, I still once in a while had a craving for a cigarette. So, but that was the only thing that I really ever craved again. So, but my addiction, unfortunately, is food. I like food, so that would probably, if I have an addiction, that's it. So, does that answer that? Yeah. So no really craving. I just felt like when I gave my life to Christ, He took all that away. And again, I walked away from my friends, and my friends thought I either joined a cult or I took too many drugs and I fried my brain, or, and they didn't know why the separation, but I really did it mentally because I just knew I needed to get away and start hanging with Christian people, or I was going to get sucked back in. So it was a big thing for me to, and so about a year later, I called my friends up, talked to them, and I was strong enough spiritually at that point to be able to share the gospel with them. So.
I just want to say that when, in the power of the Holy Spirit, once we ask, for Christ to, that we receive Him, basically, He actually receives us into His family. That when you make a commitment, it's not like God takes that away from you. It empowers us to walk away from those things, whether there's some addictions or, and sometimes it takes longer for some people to walk away from those things. And that's one of the things that I know and I've recognized with Eddie is that he made a very conscious decision to stay away from the people that were influential to him, friendships that were not healthy friendships. So.
How about some other questions? Yeah, Brock.
How did you know that she was the one?
Well, my story is very different than hers, so I'll go with mine, and then she can tell you yours. So I was gone for the summer, and she got saved during the summer that I was gone. And I thought I shared this a little bit, but you don't date, in our youth group, you don't date the people that are there because it's like dating your sister. So you wait for new people. And so when I got there, I was gone, and so it was a Sunday night, and I saw this cute little Mexican girl, and I just wanted to talk to her, so I went up to her and talked to her. And that night, I knew that I wanted to marry her. So, but it took, like I said, I think I said this the other day, it took about 6 months to convince her to go out with me. And we went out on our first date 6 months later on New Year's Day was our first date. So, to the Guadalajara restaurant. I remember it very well. So, but I'll let her tell. It took her a lot longer.
How did I know?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Dating.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dating.
Dating, all right. Well, when I hear you say it's sick, to me sick, so I don't know.
Go ahead, Brock.
Was it is it unexplainable when you know that the one, or was it like a feeling, like deep down, or?
It was just, I felt like we could do ministry together, we could live together, we could enjoy one another, and it just lined up that way. But marriage is tough. You know, we've been married 70, 70 seems like 70 something, 47 years. And you got to work at it. And sometimes, love is a decision. It's not a feeling. And sometimes you just choose to stay in love because it's the right thing to do. There's times that I don't feel that I'm in love with her. Most of the time I do, but not always. But I made a commitment, I made a vow to the Lord to stay through good and bad and sickness and health. And so,
I remind him of that
yeah.
quite often, by the way.
So,
Remember what you said,
yes.
for better or for worse?
So it's just a commitment, and once you're in it for life, and that's unless something really goes off with one of you, mentally or spiritually, that you just hit the dumper. But we rode some hard things together. We were married 3 weeks, and I had a motorcycle accident and ended up couldn't work for a couple months, and all of a sudden, you know, what was going to happen. We had to trust God to just take care of us for the first 2 months. We didn't think we were going to have an income coming in, but God just did some amazing things. But so we could track our whole life just to see how God has taken some really hard things in our lives and taken us through it. You know, so.
So going back to your question, you know, is it a feeling? Is it just that something that you can't explain? What I have come to understand better now, you know, not recently, but shortly after, is that doing things together, like we were doing things together with other people, getting to know each other. And that is very important to see because there are seasons in a year. There's also seasons in our lives. And my guidance, my counsel to young couples that are looking into not just dating, but that they're interested in marriage, and I go, you need to give yourself some time for that to see how that person responds in different situations, different settings, because there are some enjoyable things, some fun things, and there are some really difficult things that we go through. You all do. Even at your age, you do that, and you will throughout your life. So when you're in a dating situation, I think it's a very healthy thing to do that can alert you if you're compatible. And right now I'm saying this to Christ followers, okay? I believe that you all have made a decision to receive the forgiveness of Christ, and that makes you his child. So it's not like I'm telling somebody else that it's not in the faith. You are in the faith, so I can say that you need to come to a place where you feel you're compatible with each other to serve the Lord. And I'm not talking about going into missions. I'm talking about on a daily basis. How do you support each other? How you work things, difficult times, you know. Yeah.
I think there's tons of questions you need to ask. Is what's family like? You might come from a really solid family, and the person that you're looking to date maybe doesn't. So that doesn't mean you don't hang out together, but you understand that and work that through. And so we both came from probably non-Christian homes. My mom was a Christian, my dad wasn't, and most of my siblings were walking with the Lord. So, you know, we had to ask some tough questions. How are we going to raise our kids? Who's going to influence our kids? What grandparents are we going to let them stay with? And a lot of different questions you got to ask. Can you get along? Is there something that they're going to bring from their family that can cause issues down the past and I mean in the future? So a lot of things to ask. One of the things that we at our ministry, we have 18 to 22-year-olds come, interns, and we ask them not to date while they're there. You can hang out, you can be friends, but don't date while you're there. And if you want to date after that, and we've had some of them start dating after they left. Some snuck around when they're there. Unfortunately, we found out later, or we knew. We busted them. You know, kids. Some young adults aren't very smart. Our house looked right into the mission room that we talked about, and so our bedroom looked in there, and so they thought it was really smart to go make out in the mission room. So right in front of our bedroom, and we go, yeah. So they get busted that way. So, but anyway, most of the time they were pretty good about obeying the rules, but then they would date later, because sometimes when you're in this setting, it is a Christian bubble. Okay, you're hearing good things. Everything's sort of set for you. You eat together. Everything's good. Hopefully the bills are paid. Everything's going good. It's just a Christian bubble, and it's not reality sometimes. And then you need to really see, before you make that decision to get married or hang with somebody lifetime, is see what is a real life like once you get out of the Bible school, once you get at home, and can you live long distance, do a long distance relationship, or are you going to move to that person's town or state or Providence, whatever. So there's a lot of questions to ask. So I would say always be careful in this setting, and I know there's a lot of marriages that have already came out of Anchor House, and so just be careful with that. That's, I'm telling you I'm not telling you not to date somebody from Anchor House. I'm telling you be cautious with it, because this is not always reality. It's just Christian bubble because you're there. So it's, if you have the thing ring by spring, I would slow down on that. Do you remember that? That's usually at Christian Bible, schools, ring by spring. So, but that's just some things there. We went way off. That's just opinion from me. That's not rule.
By the way, at Caravan, he says that we tell them not to date. It really is a standing parameter, okay, that we don't want, we desire for, just like I think it here, but this is a different thing. This is a school. We're in a shorter season that can potentially grow to a year. So, yes, some of the interns do get to know each other better, but the standing parameter or guideline is for them to abstain from dating or getting into an exclusive relationship while they are there, so that they don't get out of, they're not distracted, because that's just, it's a very short time.
We want them to grow in discipleship. Yeah. Any other questions? We got probably time for one more question, because we're talking a lot. So, anything? Yes.
How do you develop discernment, like personally, spiritually, or relationally?
Discernment. Well, I'm going to refer to the lady that has gift of discernment and see if she can explain that. But I think it first comes from, and for me, comes from an intimate relationship with the Lord. I'm a real trusting person, so I have a tendency to accept things. Maggie really does have the gift of discernment, and there's times that I should have listened to her and I haven't, and like I wouldn't hire that person, or I'd be really careful because I get this. I feel like the Lord's telling me to be really careful with this person.
How do you develop that?
So, but it's spending time with the Lord, opening up the Word, praying about it, saying, you know what, I need understanding and discernment in this area, and be specific about it. So in your prayer time, be specific about what you're asking that. And so I think it takes time. I think it's just a spiritual development. I think it's being in the Word. I think it's surrounding yourself with accountability, and we'll talk more about that on Saturday, having people that are accountable to you, keeping you accountable, and finding good church that's keeping you in balanced and boundaries. So I think there's a lot there. So
I think that today's, fill in the blank, the lesson this morning has a lot of, it offers you all some thoughts on how to develop that. But it is a gift. It's a spiritual gift. It's not like you work at it and you're going to get, to be a very discerning person. It is
And we said yesterday, the Holy Spirit dwells within us, right? So the Holy Spirit's going to give you discernment. And if you feel something's sort of not right with what biblically, or you don't feel something right in your heart, that's when you stay away from that or you get counsel about it. So anyway, we better cut it off or we won't have time to finish this by 5. So we're going to watch a video. It's about Brooks Buser, and you've heard me talk a little bit about him, but it gives the whole thing, and I'm messing this up again. So I'm just going to lay it down. And so we'll watch the video, and then yeah, I'm rough on my equipment. So just watch the video, and then I'll wrap it up.